As I was introduced, I'm Jennifer Kelly. I live in North Bexley with my husband and my son and my daughter who go to Maryland Elementary. My son Oliver has a genetic, rare, neurodegenerative, and terminal disease called Sanfilippo syndrome. Sanfilippo syndrome is often described as childhood Alzheimer's. And my son, at 9 years old, he's lost many of the skills he had as a young child. The ability to talk and say, "I love you," the ability to sing his ABCs and happy birthday, to drink from a straw, to use utensils, and he'll continue to lose all of his skills as the disease progresses. But today, Oliver's a happy kid, and he's blissfully unaware of his skill deficits, both physically and most significantly, cognitively. He's full of love, and he's also full of challenging behaviors. Oliver struggles outside the normal routines of school and home. A trip to the store involves pterodactyl-like screams and wails, arms and legs flailing trying to clear shelves, and full body tantrums on the floor. As his mom, any outing comes with anxiety and exhaustion, wanting to keep Oliver safe and also wanting to minimize how much we disrupt and intrude other people's expectations of being in a public setting, whether that's at a restaurant or at a movie theater or at a library or at a park, everywhere, wanting to minimize the irritated frowns and scowls and sometimes even comments. All the while wanting to take photos and to make memories, and importantly, not wanting my daughter to see how overwhelming all of it is. So often we stay home, in the isolated safety of home. But I jumped at an opportunity to go to the Bexley community pool one day when I misread an email, thinking only Oliver's summer camp kids would be at the pool. Oliver loves water. He doesn't know that he can't swim, and Oliver loves being around other kids. He doesn't know that his back slaps will hurt other kids, or that taking turns or following the rules. But these kids are familiar with Oliver and they care for him, so it felt like a great opportunity. And I had just bought Oliver a wetsuit with like a flotation device that was sewn into ahead of a vacation that we were going to go on. And I wanted to see that if it would fit, and it didn't. But I squeezed him into the wetsuit, and I squeezed me into my swimsuit, and we headed to the Bexley pool. And I parked, and Oliver bulldozed through the front entrance, and I'm hustling behind him, and and as I'm running and following him, I'm throwing my keys and my towels and my shoes kind of close to a bench. And I look up and I realize it's not just his summer camp kids, but it's everyone in the whole public. The pool was packed, and my stomach dropped, and I thought, here we go. So Oliver runs directly for that big play set in the pool. And he runs up the steps around all these little kids that are smaller than him. And I also follow him running up the steps around all these kids that are much smaller than me, and we get to the top. And I wrap my arms around him to hold him while we wait for our turn to go down the slide. And it's finally his turn, and I push him down the slide. And once he gets to the bottom, he turns and tries to go back up the slide. So I run down the steps, and I reach into the slide, and I pull him out. And so then together we run up the steps. I hold him, wait for our turn, push him down the slide, run down the steps, and pull him out. Up I go, pushing him, down I go, pulling him, up and down, and up and down. And 30 minutes later, I am exhausted, but Oliver is so happy. He's smiling, he's having the time of his life. And we get to the top, and I wrap my arms around him to wait for our turn. And for the first time, I look around the pool, and I see all the parents perimetered around the pool. I see a woman over here in a black swimsuit and a large sun hat talking to a friend. I see a man over here sitting in a chair reading a book. I see a woman beside him with big sunglasses taking a nap. I see all the parents of the kids who were darting around, lingering casually at the edge of the pool. And in that moment of holding Oliver, taking it all in this middle of this foot race, exhausted, the contrast of the experience felt vast. It felt like an isolation, but different than what I feel at home. But then it was Oliver's turn to go down the slide, and I push him down the slide, and I run down the steps, and I pull him out of the slide, and I hear over my shoulder, "He can't go up the slide." And I turn and I look, and there's a lifeguard. And I say, "I know." And she's like, "It's for his own safety. He can't go up the slide." And I say, I know, we're doing our best." And I think, doesn't she see me? Doesn't she see how hard I'm working in every minute of this experience, trying to follow the rules, trying to fit in, trying to belong? For one 45-minute swim session in our community pool in the entire summer, the one time we had the courage to show up to the pool. My heart sank a little. Shortly thereafter, the whistle blew and it was break time. For us, it was time to go home. Oliver doesn't understand swim breaks. So I scoop up our stuff and I grab his wrist. He's twisting and thrashing and trying to get back into the pool. And finally he drops to the ground crying, and I scoop him up and I scoop my stuff up, and we walk our way to the car. And when we finally get to the car, I start crying too. Exhausted, feeling like I didn't fit in. And in that moment, I asked myself, what had I needed in that moment? And I was reminded of a prior hard outing. And in this time, in the midst of Oliver, this time running around and screaming and interrupting everyone during this sensory performance, this woman came up to me and she said, "We're so glad you're here. And I don't know if I can help you, but I'd love to stand alongside you if you'd have me." And that one woman, and those kind words, and the courage to see me, to see us, made all the difference in the experience of that outing. It made us feel like we could belong. Thank you.